Ineos ready to get brutal. Sir Jim knows we need to get a top level midfielder, and he doesn't care that we brought in Ugarte just last summer. He doesn't care about players that are not good enough, players that are not in Amorim's plans. Ineos are ready to sell. Ineos are ready to offload potentially 6 players in 2026 to fund transfers. Manchester United know that Man City have come for Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson is Manchester United's priority transfer target. Man United have made that clear. And Man United want to do some January sales to see if they can get some money to go for Elliot Anderson in January. See if they can beat off Man City, who'll be competition in the summer. Hobby Mano could make way. Joshua Zirkzee could make way. Casemiro Maguire expected to leave at the end of the season. Dalot could make way in future. Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show. Jim Ratcliffe is ready to be brutal, according to reports. He wants to unlock Man United's potential to get a top midfielder in January, and Ugarte is one of 4 players the United will now listen to offers for in January. Ugarte being a surprising one, considering he was only signed just over a year ago. But we said, Omar Barada, 2 seasons and you're out. This is Ugarte's 2nd season. Not done enough. You're out. Anthony has gone. Højlund has gone. Anana has gone, whether it's permanent or not. They had their 2 seasons and they're out. In the past, if we didn't have Ineos, we'd still have Anana at the club. We'd still have Højlund at the club. And we'd probably keep Ugarte here for 5 years if we didn't have Ineos. But Ineos are different. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Anderson. We're going to talk about Baleba. We're going to talk about what Manchester United's plans are. We're going to talk about Semenyo and more. So let's dive into the news. Let's dive into the stories. Guys, I hope you are all doing well. I can't lie. She's a little bit hanging this morning, this afternoon. So we're going to power through this live stream. But it was a late night for a Monday, we'll just say, last night. So I'm absolutely dead. And I've got Champions League to watch tonight. But let's dive into the news and all of that as well. Don't think we'll sign anything major in January. The past 2 January's windows approve of that. I agree. I can't see us doing much in January. But United wanted, after AFCON, push a load of sales out in January to give us the money to do something, which is interesting. But let's talk about what Man United want to do in general. Then let's talk about the outs and then what we want to do in January. Because this is what we want to do in general. And for me, you're describing Elliot Anderson, Semenyo, and Jeremy Jacket. But let me read this. This is from Laurie Whitwell, who is a very, very credible Man United source. Midfield is the priority area. United want a dynamic presence in the centre of the pitch, a player capable of winning possession and getting the ball moving forwards. Adding central defenders could come on the agenda, while Amorim also mentioned his desire to be able to select a right-footed attacking wingback for the left side. So, midfield is the priority area. United want a dynamic presence in the centre of the pitch, a player capable of winning the ball, a player capable of winning possession and getting the ball back moving forward. So Man United want Elliot Anderson, basically. They also want a central defender. I think they want someone young. We've looked at Mukio of Ajax. We've looked at Jeremy Jacket. We're looking at this young guy in Brazil. I think we want a young centre-back. I think we're leaning towards a left footer because Lenny Yoro is right-footer for the future. And Amorim mentioned he wanted a right-footed player to go on the left side, wing-back, someone who maybe is potentially quite quick, more wing-like. We're probably looking at potentially a Semenyo. However, there is reports that we are walking away from a potential deal from Semenyo, or we're not going to go for him because he's too much money, which is a shame, but I can see that. So that is apparently what we want. The 3 players they're describing to me are Anderson, Semenyo, and someone young like Jacket at centre-back. But will United be able to do that? We spoke about Elliot Anderson and Man City in my show last night. Will United be able to do that? Interesting here. No to Baleba, he's been horrible this season. Yes, his head was turned by us, but another one to AFCON. I mean, look, I've really gone off Baleba. He's not even starting for Brighton now. I think the fact that he's not starting for Brighton says to me, if Brighton pretend he's not up for sale, that's because Brighton is pretending he's not up for sale so they can get more money out of us. Brighton are going to play the we love Baleba, he's not up for sale, when he will most definitely be up for sale because he's been crap card just to see if they can get more money out of United. But I've definitely gone off Baleba. I think we have to go left Elliot Anderson with his recent performances. I like Njai of Everton. Like Njai, oh, it's not let me click a comment there. I really do like Njai of Everton. I think it's a good option. I think if we get back in Europe, we should go for a winger. I think if we're not in Europe, then maybe we don't. But I think if we get back in Europe, he would be an option there as well. No to Baleba can't have the mentality. The mentality drop after being linked to United is worrying. Like, yeah. We shouldn't sell Cobby for Amarin. Amarin's the worst manager on history to sell Cobby for Amarin. We shouldn't sell Cobby. I'm open to loaning Cobby out, but we shouldn't sell him. We should not sell Cobby Maino to fund transfer moves for Ruben Amarin, when Amarin has shown he's not improved many players since he's come into United and has statistically been our worst ever manager. That's not to say that Ruben Amarin won't succeed at Man United, but so far he hasn't succeeded at Man United. And I think to sell a talent of the level of Cobby Maino's ability, which we saw in Ten Hag's first season, to help out Ruben Amarin, for me, doesn't make sense. I'm all for getting rid of player power and selling players like Rashford and Garnacho that were acting out to back the manager, but I'm not selling one of our highest rated talents that hasn't acted out, that hasn't done anything off the pitch, because this manager doesn't want him, wants this, and this. If Ruben Amarin got second place and wanted Maino gone, I'd feel slightly different about it. It sucked to sell Maino, it sucked to get rid of Maino, but if Ruben Amarin had got second place and was playing brilliant football without Maino, you're like, fair enough. But when the manager hasn't done anything brilliant, I agree, we shouldn't be selling our best academy talent that we've produced in a while for a manager that hasn't done anything brilliant. I think Maino can go out on loan, but I think for a permanent, yeah, I don't get it. But let's talk about exits. Let's talk about what's going on, because Mark Ogden has spoken about 4 sales, plus we know that Casemiro and Maguire set to leave, which could be 6 in 2026. United will listen to offers for Maino, Xerxes, Ugarte, and Malacia. Now, we know we're going to listen to loan offers for Maino. We know that Xerxes wants to go, and we know that Malacia is basically done. The surprising one there, I think, is Ugarte. It's now come out that United are willing to put Ugarte up for sale, listen to offers for Ugarte, and are willing to potentially part way with Ugarte in January. Mark Ogden said, however, if the United hierarchy can unlock some funds, it could make a move for one of its key midfield targets, which are Anderson, Wharton, Baleba, and Stiller in January. United could be busy in the second half of the January window after AFCON, but of their targets, only Stiller seems affordable. But what Mark Ogden is pretty much suggesting and hinting at is United are open to offloading those players in January to give us the funds to see if we can really push ahead with one of our big targets in January. You know, we want to loan out Maino now. Xerxes we might let go of after AFCON. Malacia is already done. And United are open to selling Ugarte. And he's not the first person to say that. United are open to selling Ugarte in January. And that could unlock some funds for United to go and sign someone in January. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to sign Anderson, Wharton, or Baleba in January. I think maybe Joel Gomez and maybe Stiller, but there's questions over if Stiller can do it in the Premier League and Ruben Amorim wants Prem proven. But United at the second half of the January window could go mad after AFCON, depending on who's available, who's injured, who's sold. Because if Man United do get 30 million for Ugarte, they could potentially invest that into the squad. Would we get 30 million for Ugarte? Does anyone want to buy Ugarte in January? I don't know. The only offers from him in the summer were like Galatasaray, and United decided they wanted to give him one more year because of lack of depth to prove himself. But it's been the second season. When he has played, it has not been great. United, I think, are more like, let's just cash in on the guy. Let's just cash in on the guy and see what we can do. But I think, you know, we sell Ugarte. Man United are more than happy to sell Ugarte in January. You know, that like we could maybe have the funds to invest in midfield. But I don't think it's just about having the funds. I think it's about being able to get them. You know, we're willing to sell Ugarte in January. We're willing to invest in this player in January, but that doesn't mean we can do it. You know, Ugarte sale could be happening in January. We're willing to do that, but it doesn't mean he is going to go in January. Same with Xerxes. I think with Xerxes' goal, you never know. If he has a few more goals and a good run of games, I think Xerxes' situation at United could change, even though he's not what Amorim wants in a striker. Just hypothetical, but no young players and selling Maino, new people will just end up like Maino. My biggest concern with Amorim is that I feel like Yoro's regressed and Maino's regressed. And he's not utilising the youth for building the future. So I guess that is a concern under Amorim. You know, whereas Ten Hag got the best out of Garnacho and Maino and probably would have got the best out of Yoro. Ten Hag was very good at getting the best out of our youth, whereas I think Amorim isn't. Well, I guess that's a concern. I'm with you there, Alice. Only reason why I'd sell Amorim is how does he fit? How does he fit into the system? That's my only issue. I think if you put him next to Elliot Anderson, he works in the midfield too, but he only works in the midfield too if you're putting him next to a Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson type player. And we don't have that right now. So yeah, he doesn't fully suit the system, But I just think for me, he's too good of a talent to let go of. I do. More minutes for Xerxes. I think the more minutes Xerxes gets, the better he will be. I think Xerxes is one of those players that needs to run a games to get to his best. I think the more minutes he gets, the better he'll be. How can they sell Malacia when he's only been warming the bench for more than a year? Well, he had that little loan at PSV. It will be difficult though. But I want to talk about our obviously transfer targets because Laurie Whitwell has revealed who they are and who we're looking at. Carlos Baleba, despite his drop-off in form from this season, the 21-year-old remains prominent on United's list. So despite Carlos Baleba's drop in form, we know that Sergeant Ratcliffe is ready to snap up Baleba if we can get him for a good price. Elliot Anderson has emerged as the primary focus of attention after a series of impressive displays for Forest in England. Warden's under consideration. So Laurie Whitwell has pretty much said, the number one is Elliot Anderson. We want him. He's the number one. We're going to go all out for him. If we can't get him, we still like Baleba despite poor form. We still like Wharton. That has been revealed. And I think Sergeant Ratcliffe has finally realised we need to get Adam Wharton. I mean, he's finally snapped in that sense of, not Adam Wharton, we need to get Elliot Anderson, sorry. Because I think there's rumours of United going to try in January. We won't get him in January. I know we won't get him in January. But there's rumours if we can sell some players in January, we will try. And United could try and sell some players in January to see what they can do in regards to Elliot Anderson. But the fear is he wants City. Now, what we do know about Ruben Amorim and what we do know Ruben Amorim wants is this. Ruben Amorim would love to sign a midfielder with Prem experience in an effort to improve the physicality and athleticism of the squad, which is something that we didn't do under Ten Hag, that Ruben Amorim has done well, is improve the physicality and athleticism of the squad, but there's still a long way to go. He said Elliot Anderson has emerged as a top target alongside Adam Wharton, but there's still interest in Carlos Baleba. So, again, Elliot Anderson is the top target. Every journalist is coming out saying it. Man United want Elliot Anderson. He is the top target. He is the dream. He's what Ruben Amorim wants. We know that. Like, I can tell you that for a fact. We're dreaming of Elliot Anderson. We want him. He is the dream transfer. Will we get him? I don't know. But I think Ugarte could go. I think Inos are ready to be brutal. Sell Ugarte. Do anything to boost the funds for midfield. Go all out for Elliot Anderson. United want to get two of Elliot Anderson, Wharton and Baleba. They want to get Elliot Anderson and they want to get one of Wharton or Baleba. United want to get two of them. And they know to do that. They're probably going to have to sell Ugarte. Casemiro's contract isn't going to be renewed. We could get 50 to 60 million for Bruno with his release clause. Maino could go. Man United are going to have a big, busy midfield window. A big, busy midfield window. But it's got to be the right midfielders. It can't just be, or we're bringing Stiller for the sake of it, we're bringing Joel Gomez for the sake of it. I like those players, but it needs to be the right midfielder. And when you look at Elliot Anderson, you just know he's the right midfielder. You just know he's the midfielder that United should be going for. The problem is that City are in for him. A lot of people have been talking about Semenyo because obviously he is available in January. We can't get a midfielder, but Semenyo is available in January. So could we go for Semenyo in January because we were looking at someone like Semenyo in summer and then do the whole midfield business in summer? We could go for Semenyo in January, but it's seen as unlikely. Romano said that Manchester United are not in active talks to sign Anton Semenyo in January as their focus is to invest big money on other positions and a midfielder. That was said by Fabrizio Romano. So while we like Semenyo, all our money is going to go on a midfielder. We're looking at someone like Elliot Anderson. That's where we want to put all our money, on a midfielder. And I like that, you know. We need to make midfield priority. We need to go there first. I do look at it and say, well, if we can't get Elliot Anderson till summer, and we can get Semenyo in January, I'm happy to get Semenyo in January and then go well up for Elliot Anderson in the summer. But I get why United would like to go for Elliot Anderson first. I think if we can't get Elliot Anderson in January, which I don't think we can, I think we should go for Joel Gomez in January, Elliot Anderson in the summer, Semenyo in the summer. If you can get him in the summer, I think we're going to have to get Semenyo in January if we want to do anything next. I think Liverpool will be all over it. But it has been said by Romano and many sources that United, you know, we like Anton Semenyo. We've had talks with him, but we're not quite right now in active talks for Semenyo. Like, we're not right now interested in doing anything for Semenyo because we're just focusing on the summer and other things. But with Joel Gomez talks ongoing, with Stiller talks ongoing, whether I don't think we're going to get one of the big midfielders in January, but I do think Joel Gomez, Stiller, Conor Gallagher could be one to watch. I think we're going to bring in a part-time midfielder in January. I think we're going to get Maino go out on loan. I think we could try and sell Ugarte if we can get offers. You know, obviously Højlund we're hoping to sell, Onana we're hoping to sell, Rashford we're hoping to sell. Yeah, I think United are ready to do some offloading. Apparently Barcelona don't want Rashford at the end of his loan, but I think that's BS considering how good he's been for them and maybe a negotiation tactic. Oh, I don't have my water on me. In a way, this is good for Xerxes with Sesko and Cunha injured. In a way, yes. Obviously, I never want Sesko and Cunha injured, but I think Xerxes needs to run a games to get his fitness up, and I think that second half was really good from him. That goal was really good for him, and Amarin used him more to his strengths in the second half. So I'm happy for Xerxes. Brighton keep playing it down that they don't want to sell Baleba. I say we play down our interest 100%. Brighton are now ready to sell Baleba. Brighton have had enough of Baleba this season. He's been shocking. They're ready to sell him. But Brighton realised if they sold Baleba this summer, they could have got nearly 100 million out of us. They know now if they sell Baleba next summer, with the way he's been playing, they'd be lucky to get 70 million. So because they know that Baleba's value is going to decrease 20, 30 million in the space of a year because of how bad he's been, they're thinking, well, we're going to pretend we don't want to sell him. We're going to pretend that we love him and he's really important. La, 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 la. So then Man United will come in and try and give us 100 million again when United hopefully aren't stupid enough to do that. They'll want to sell Baleba, but they've realised by not selling him to us in the summer, his value has now decreased loads. So they want to pretend, they're just going to pretend they don't want to sell Baleba to try and increase his value, to try and get us to overpay for him. But they'll want to sell Baleba after the way he's been playing for sure. Yeah. I'm not sure we get that big January midfielder. Plus, are we going to be able to sell players? Well, that's the thing. We can talk about Jim Ratcliffe snapping and being brutal, and there's now 6 players that United are willing to listen to offers for in January. You can talk about it like that, but will United be able to sell any of those players? Will United be able to buy Elliot Anderson? We won't be able to buy Elliot Anderson. I think in an ideal world, Man United are like, let's sell Ugarte in January and let's go and spend that money on Elliot Anderson and try and get him in January. In an ideal world, that's what United would do, but it's not an ideal world. I don't think we can do that. I think it is, we can get some money for this player in January, we can invest it on this player in January, we're going to have to wait till summer for that player. I think that's what United's plan is, to be honest. Big up everybody tuning into today's live show, by the way. We're just discussing all the latest Manchester United news and stories coming about. Obviously, we play on Thursday, so that will be a big game. And Bumo spoke about how Ahmed helped him when he came to United with the language and everything. So good to see Bumo and Ahmed forming a bit of a friendship. De Ligt, Bruno and Ahmed have been nominated for Player of the Month for November. Probably give it to De Ligt, I don't know. But then I don't think he had the best month in November. Maybe Bruno. I mean, who would you give Player of the Month in November in? Ahmed, De Ligt or Bruno? Maybe Ahmed. I don't think anyone's been great in November. Xerxes' goal of the month, probably that. But we know that United wants to add a central defender, and it was also said by not Ruben Amorim, sorry, by Laurie Whitwell that we're open to adding a left wing back. So United are looking at left wing back, centre back, and 2 midfielders. They seem to be Man United's priority. It was said by Laurie Whitwell the midfield is the priority area. United want a capable midfielder capable of winning possession and getting the ball, moving it forward. There could be 2 midfielders, a number 6 and number 8, depending on what happens with outgoings. But United could go for a number 6 and a number 8. United seems to be pulling out the race for Semenyo. But it looks like United want 2 midfielders, a centre back, a left wing back. That looks like what we want. United are willing to let go of a lot of players in January and summer to give us the funds to try and chase those targets and get them. Some people saying De Ligt and Bruno. Yeah, I don't know who would be man of the match, not man of the match, player of the month this last month for November, because we've had the international break as well. It's difficult to think who would I give player of the month to November. But listen, people, I wanted to do a short live stream. I didn't want to go live super long because I am very hungover and I'm very struggling. And I do apologise, but I wanted to do just a little short live stream talking about all the news, all the stories going about. But it's been said, and I want to dive into what Alex Crook said on Ugarte as well, because there's quite a few reports on Ugarte and his future, obviously. But it has also been said by Alex Crook that Manuel Ugarte's future at United is looking increasingly bleak. United are planning a major squad overhaul of their midfield next summer and are willing to break their club transfer record to sign one of Carlos Baleba, Anderson or Wharton. This inevitably means casualties and Ugarte being allowed to move on, with reports in the club have identified as many as 10 players who could follow him out the door. Now, we've been talking about 6 players that could be going out the door. Alex Crook suggests 10 players could be going out the door, and Ugarte could be one of them to raise the funds needed to get the 2 midfielders that Man United want to buy, which is interesting. I do think Ugarte is going to be sold. I do think Ugarte is going to be moved on, and I do think it's going to be a busy 2026. But yeah, I know my live streams are normally half an hour, but I just wanted to do a 20-minute recap live stream, keep you up to date because I didn't do a morning video. I'll probably be back this evening with an evening video. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time. Bye.